I want to show you a very entertaining interview that Piers Morgan conducted with Bassem Youssef, who's an Egyptian comedian, and he completely schooled Piers on Gaza and Palestine, but I doubt anything actually got through in the end. Nevertheless, very entertaining. Let's have a look.
Well, joining me now to discuss the conflict in Israel and Gaza is a TV host and satirist, Bassem Youssef. Bassem, it's great to have you back on the programme. I wish it was under different circumstances. First of all, what is your reaction to what happened on October the 7th?
Oh, it was terrible, of course. I mean, we kind of get our news kind of also secondhand because, you know, my wife's family, they live in Gaza. They have cousins and uncles there. And their house also was bombed. We haven't been able to communicate with them for the past 3 days. Communication are lost. So we don't know actually what is the how are they doing. But you know, we're used to that. I mean, it's just like it's very repetitive. We're used to that. We're used to them being bombed every time and moving from one place to the other. You know, it's just like those Palestinians. They're very dramatic. Israel killing us. But they never die. I mean, they always come back. You know, they're very difficult to kill, very difficult people to kill. I know because I'm married to one. I tried many times, couldn't kill her.
I mean, there's a dark humour there, and I understand why. Because
no, it's not dark humour. I try to get to her every time, but she uses our kids as human shields. I can never take her out.
Again, I understand the humour, but.
He's showing you how stupid this propaganda is about human shields in Palestine.
To be serious, Bassem, about this, tonight there is...
I will be serious. Now, I will be serious. I was watching your interview with Ben Shapiro, and I'll tell you one thing.
Yeah.
I think that Ben Shapiro is one of the smartest people who ever walked this earth. He's very, very smart. I follow him, and I believe everything he said. And when he came on your show...
Hi, I'm Ben Shapiro. I like to talk really fast and pretend I'm intelligent, and I hate Arabs that are a racist piece of shit, and I love Israel.
Show. His solution was, and I quote, his solution was that the solution for this is for Israel to annex Gaza and to kill as many son of bitches as possible to make sure that this will never happen again. And anyone who called for a ceasefire will be a terrorist sympathizer. So God forbid, I don't want to be labeled as a terrorist sympathizer. So I agree with Ben Shapiro. I think we should kill as many son of bitches as possible.
Well, let me,
so
okay,
far,
but Bassem, let me...
so far, 3,500 people were killed, including 5,000 son of bitches in the bombing of the Baptist hospital as we speak right now. 1/3 of those 3,500 were children.
And now a church also bombed.
So my question to Ben Shapiro is, how many more son of bitches do we need to kill so Ben Shapiro is happy?
Okay,
because it changes
Bassem,
from 1 year.
It
changes from one. I'm sorry that. Listen, I'm really at a disadvantage here. I'm looking at a camera. I don't see you. I can hear you on my ears.
The reason I'm interrupting
so
is I think you might be. I think you're conflating different interviews with Ben Shapiro. He didn't use the phrase "sons of bitches" with me. Let me play to you what he actually.
I love how his reaction is like, yes, Ben Shapiro did say to kill all of you, but he didn't use the term "sons of bitches." That's another interview where he calls you sons of bitches.
He did. Go back to your interview.
No, he didn't. That was another interview. But let me play what he said to me here.
Well, frankly, I don't believe in proportionate response to terrorism.
Yeah, neither do I. Neither do I. You should go home back to Europe where you belong before it gets too serious.
I believe that the way that you stop terrorism is with wildly disproportionate response. That doesn't mean in terms of targeting civilians. It means in terms of killing as many terrorists as humanly possible and allowing them to dictate the terms of engagement by hiding behind civilians in areas that there's...
No one's hiding, Ben. You're free to go anytime you want to Gaza. Try it if you had lost 1 minute. Go ahead. All the Israelis do is blab and they sit in a jet and bomb, but they never actually go and fight face to face. Because last time they went into Gaza, they got fucking pulverized. You know why? Because when you go to somebody else's country, you always lose. Just like Britain lost in Afghanistan. Just like the Americans and the Soviets lost in Afghanistan. Just like the Americans lost in Vietnam. It's not your home turf. Go home.
Supposedly responsible for means that the only option for Israel is to surrender to Hamas's hatred.
Yes, surrender and go home. Maybe we're finally making progress with this.
Lisa Basil likes to talk like this all the time, pretend I'm intelligent. I really love
of its own citizens, its willingness to use its own children as human shields. No country worth its salt could ever do that.
Now that is substantively different to what you said he said, right? He's talking there
but
specifically about Hamas
agree
terrorists.
with him. I agree with him. The thing is, the question is, what is a proportionate response? Because
Yes.
it has been different from one tier to another. So if you look to this graph, for example, this is the death of Israeli and Palestinians, and it's changing from one year to year. It's like fluctuating like crypto. So my question is today, what is the going rate today for human lives? I mean, 2014 was a great year for Ben Shapiro. 88 Israelis were died, and there was 2,329 Palestinians killed on the other side.
88 Israelis, most of them soldiers, versus 2,000 plus Palestinians, most of them civilians. Did I not tell you? Did I not talk about 2014 a lot and how bad it was? This now, what Israel is doing as I speak to you this very moment is even worse than 2014. That is how fucking nuts and racist and violent they are. They're colonizers. What can a colonizer do except murder the owners of the land?
That is one Israeli for 27 Palestinians. That is a very good exchange rate. What I'm saying is, what is the exchange rate for today? You guys will be happy. That's my question.
Well, it's not me. It's not me, guys. I'm not on either side.
No,
here.
not you. Like when I say you guys, I say like the people on the other side of that. I know that you don't think like that, Pierce. You're one of the good guys. But let me tell you something. I mean, the reason that I'm using this is that, I mean, I could act.
I love this. That was another another joke that went over his head. One of the good guys. You know, it's when they say like, "Hey, look, we don't have anything against Muslims. You know, you're a good Muslim. You're not like one of those crazy, you know, Muslimanic terrorists and shit. You know, yeah, you're one of the good guys."
I can't remember what happened in 2014, and there was no music festival. But there must be something. I mean, they must do something. It is their fault. It has to be.
Right? What is the excuse next time? What was the excuse last time? Was there a music festival that Hamas attacked? In 2014, was there? In 2021? Did they also behead babies then, unbeknownst to us all?
But there must be something. I mean, they must do something. It is their fault. It has to be something. I mean, 2018, 300 Palestinians died. Who's counting? You know? So the thing is, what my question is, let's find what is the exchange rate for human life today so we expect the future death of Palestinians and we'll be happy to it.
My response to that would be this, Bassem. I've thought carefully about this because I think it's very tricky for people like me to immerse ourselves into a conflict where we're not directly involved.
No, you are involved, Pierce, because Israel was created by Britain. You are involved. You have a responsibility to educate people and not pretend like, oh, well, it's both sides. And, you know, no, you have to pick a side. You have to pick a side. Even if you were not British, you have to look at the fucking news, report the truth and not lie and pretend like, you know, somebody resisting an occupation is just as bad as the occupier. No, they're not. They are not. This is not true. This is rubbish. One of these things is legal, it is moral, it is justifiable, it is noble, it is legitimate, and the other, Israel, meaning Israel and its behavior as a colonizer, is not. This is very simple to understand. Immerse yourself. Pierce, on behalf of everybody with a brain, please immerse yourself. And say the right bloody thing, the truth.
And I thought carefully about what I feel about this. I feel that the scale of what Hamas did on October the 7th supersedes anything else I've seen in this conflict, really ever.
What?
The savagery, the butchery, 1,300 people, the shooting of babies, the
100%.
kidnapping of grandmothers, and so on. So if we can agree on that.
Oh no, the kidnapping of grandmothers. Heaven pray. Not that. Oh no. God, has this guy ever picked up a book in his life? Do you know what the Nakba is, Pierce? Look, I'm not here to give Pierce crap. I think he can be good sometimes, and, you know, he just maybe needs to be taught and told. So I'm going to say this like really without sarcasm. Pierce, if you're listening, and listen well, please. There's something called the Nakba, which started in 1948, where the Israelis massacred the Palestinians and took their homes. The Israelis had immigrated from Europe through, you know, across multiple generations, starting with the foundation of what is Zionism, which is a political ideology created in Vienna by Herzl. And they took the land from the Palestinians. Hundreds of thousands of them lost their homes. Okay, and the Israelis committed many crimes. They killed children, they killed babies, they raped people. Right now, Israeli prison guards, there are many verified cases. In you can go read the Israeli papers in Haaretz, talking about Israeli guards raping male prisoners, teenage prisoners, female prisoners. So that, why don't you talk about that? There is much, much worse that has happened. And how do you justify what Israel was doing before October 7th? Huh? Hamas didn't even exist till the 80s. What about the 40 years until, between 1948 and 1988? What about that? Was that also Hamas's fault? Huh?
That, which I think is inarguable.
No, it's not inarguable. Israel has killed over 3,000 Palestinians now, and most of them are women and children. How is that not worse to you? They just bombed a hospital and a church. Do you have no self-respect?
Again, about proportion. I don't disagree that there's been a lot of bad stuff on both sides going back historically for decades. But if we agree that this
it's not both sides. Yo, man, look, unless the Palestinians are receiving billions of dollars in secret from the United States, and I don't know about it, and unless the Palestinians have managed to steal, an entire country from the Israelis, and I didn't know about it, it's not comparable. It's not just as bad. It's not both sides. No, it's not.
On a different level altogether, quite deliberately by Hamas, designed
absolutely.
to provoke. No, here's my question. Let me ask you a question. And the question, because you raised it earlier about proportion. I honestly don't know what the proportionate response is. I honestly don't. I don't. I've been watching the airstrikes this week thinking...
So what's your question?
Well, I would ask you, if you were Israel, what would you...
If I was Israel?
If you were Israel and that had happened to you, what would you think would be the appropriate way for the country to respond?
I would do exactly like Israel did, kill as many people as possible, since the world is letting me do it. I mean, I can do it because I can. But the thing is, I agree with you. And you know what? I'm going to be even ahead of you, because I see the question coming. Do you condemn Hamas for the atrocities? Yes, I condemn Hamas. I condemn Hamas. Hamas is the source of all evil. They're a reason for everything. And you know what? Let's, for a minute, imagine a world without Hamas.
Right.
What will this world look like? Let's give this word a name. And let's name this word the West Bank. Hamas has absolutely no control in the West Bank. And since the beginning of this year, only through August, 37 Palestinian kids were killed. No music festival, no paragliding, no Hamas. Since the occupation of the West Bank, 7,000 Palestinians were killed. No music festival, no paragliding, no Hamas. I can go on and on and on and on.
No, but you don't need to, because in a way you're preaching to the choir. I've followed this crisis.
Oh no, you're not preaching. So the thing is, like,
in the sense that I know.
Oh my God, Alhamdulillah, Pierce! I didn't know that you have finally seen the light. Welcome to the brotherhood.
I know that what you're saying has validity, of course.
Pierce, by the way, Pierce, I am at a disadvantage here. I can hear you, I cannot see you. I am in a claustrophobic room, and so please cut me some slack and don't interrupt me and interrupt my points.
Sure.
So, because this has to be fair.
Understand.
Because if you want to only hear your opinion, I can just condemn Hamas and go home. I can do that. So do you want to do that, or do you have a much more nuanced conversation?
No, I absolutely want to have a nuanced conversation. I wasn't aware I was interrupting you. I thought I was letting you speak.
Amazing. So I would say I really applaud Israel for doing one thing that no military force in the world does. Because I heard Ben Shapiro and I heard Ron DeSantis, and they said Israel is the only military force in the world that warns civilians before bombing them. I mean, how fucking cute.
How nice of them. The Israelis will tell you before they completely destroy your life and kill your pets and all your possessions and, reduce them to rubble. Isn't that swell? Oh, gee, how humane of them.
That is so nice of them. Because with this logic, if Russian troops started warning Ukrainians before bombing their houses, we're cool with Putin, right? I mean, okay, Habibi, you have warned them, go invade, it's fine, you have done your job. I mean, the thing is, and I understand, and I also heard Ben Shapiro talking about Human Shield. So you remember my wife's family, they live in Gaza. So I asked them, I told them, when Israel give you the nice warning, the cute warning, Does Hamas force you to stay in your home so you can be bombed and use as human shield? You know what? Hassan here, my wife's cousin. He's a loser. You know, he told me. You know, when I asked him, does that happen? He told me no. The lying son of a bitch lied to me. I told him, you don't understand. Ben Shapiro and Ron DeSantis keep saying that Israel warns you and Hamas asked you to stay put. So I told you, he's a loser. He never kept a job. He even failed in all of the interviews to become like a human shield. I would believe Ben Shapiro.
Let me ask you this, Bassam.
So let's go with that. No. Let me ask you
But at some point, I must be able to ask you questions. It's not a monologue for you, Bassam.
If we agree that for the 14,000 casualties, I mean, who's counting, are human shield, does that mean that every single one of those civilians was standing, obscuring a military target behind them? Because that's a lot of weapons. I mean, Hamas is packing.
No, of course it doesn't.
Hamas are packing. Yeah, he's right. So again, think about Israel and what they're saying. They're saying every civilian in Gaza that they kill is standing there on purpose because they want to, or Hamas are forcing them to be there as a human shield, to hide a military target. Hold on. So right now, how many people has Israel killed in Palestine, in Gaza specifically? Over 3,000. So you're telling me Hamas have over 3,000 military targets in Gaza, and the Israelis only found out about them after October 7th. Wow. I mean, if you believe that, I've got 50 bridges to sell you.
And look,
so there's some collateral damage, lots of collateral damage.
Yes,
it's fine. Yeah, you kill some to save some, and then kill some more. Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
Well, let me ask you this again. It comes back to proportionate response. When the world decided it had to get rid of ISIS.
No, your Korean in the comments says, is he serious about his wife? No, he wasn't. He was joking. He was what Bassam was doing was trying to point out how absurd people in Western media sound when they say that, Hamas is using civilians in Gaza as human shields and that's why they're dying, right? Like, this is just a propaganda line to absolve Israel of its crimes, its war crimes of murdering civilians, right? Let's just put the blame on Hamas. So he was just joking. He was saying, that he called his wife's relatives in Gaza and asked them if they're, when Israel tells them it's going to bomb their house, are you leaving or are you staying to be a human shield for Hamas? And then his wife's relative said, well, it's not true. And then Bassam says, well, you're a liar because Ben Shapiro, as if Ben Shapiro knows anything, right? He said that you are acting as a human shield, so clearly you're a liar. I love his style because he's always pointing out how obscene and absurd and ridiculous and ignorant and dumb people on Western mainstream media sound.
ISIS because of the appalling butchery they were carrying out. It did so by also killing, very sadly, a lot of civilians along the way by doing airstrikes against places which.
But killing civilians are inevitable. You said that in the beginning.
Killing civilians along the way, it's just going for a picnic and happened to step on a few flowers along the way.
The point is,
it's inevitable.
Yeah, but once Israel has decided that they want to get rid of Hamas, and Hamas is embedded with civilian population, I'm very concerned about what's going to happen next. I've written a column tonight saying, I remember the Iraq War, which I opposed, right?
Pierce, you wrote a column? Oh, thank the heavens that you wrote a column. MashaAllah, you've saved Gaza. You have saved Gaza. Thank you so much, Pierce. What does it say in the column? I condemn Hamas, Israel, this. Yeah, okay.
I remember all this. So my question for you is, what would you think would be an appropriate response by Israel to what happened?
Well, these are years of disproportionate responses of Israel.
Right.
Did it solve the solution? Did it solve the problem? Did it work before? So it will work. What will be the surprise this time? What will be the twist that will make this work this time? What?
Yeah. As I told you guys, Israel, if their objective is to crush the resistance, Hamas, Hezbollah, I don't care, whatever it is, whether it's in Syria or it's in Palestine or Lebanon, okay? If that's their objective, they have failed because now, even though these are separate groups, okay? Even though these are separate groups in separate countries, they have now united as one front to fight against Israeli occupation and American occupation. So, you know, if that was their goal, well, the Israelis have failed miserably, miserably, miserably. Okay? Like I said, you've never seen this before where you have Syria shelling Israel, Lebanon, Hezbollah firing at the Israelis, and also at the same time Palestinian Islamic Jihad and Hamas firing at Israel all at the same time. Never seen that before.
What will be different this time? Seriously, I mean, like, this is only the last 15 years. I mean, because it's too many people.
Do you guys see what he's holding up?
Be the surprise this time. What will be the twist that will make this work this time? What? What will be different this time? Seriously, I mean, like, this.
You see on the right, these are the Palestinian casualties on the right, and you can see on the left the Israeli casualties. They're virtually non-existent, and of course, most of them are civilians.
This is only the last 15 years. I mean, because it's
most of the Palestinian casualties are civilians, and most of the Israeli casualties are military, are soldiers. So that shows you that the Palestinians are the ones who actually target military installations, objectives, and soldiers. The Israelis, with their advanced tech and all these billions of dollars, who could be more careful and surgical if they wanted to, they go ahead and kill civilians in the thousands, by the thousands anyway. What does that tell you?
too many papers. I just got this. But how will this be different? And the thing is, I am so glad in the introduction that you mentioned the Iraq war. I applaud you, Piers, for saying that, because you were honest about it. You said that spreading lies like WMDs make people look at those people as less of humans, and they would accept the death of 1 million Iraqi, whether by sanctions or by invasion, right? You are a good man. This is amazing.
This is what I've always told you. Every single time I told you the reason that they come up with propaganda stories is so that when the war begins, you don't mind. You look the other way. You bury your head in the sand. You are conditioned and programmed to think, well, it's okay that, 1 million people in Iraq die. It's okay that people in Syria, 90% of them are living in poverty and are food insecure. It's okay. Why? Because Assad gas attacked this, Saddam Hussein that. Bullshit propaganda.
Amazing. And you know what is similar? Is when you spread the lies of 40 decapitated babies, although it was refuted. So what happens when people hear that, killing babies is horrible. But when you say decapitated 40 babies, you are planting a certain image
well, with a certain
trigger in people's mind.
Who has said that? Who has said 40
Who has said that?
Who has said
that? 40 decapitated?
Who has said that?
You have repeated.
No, I haven't.
What?
I've never.
Dude, I literally fucking watched him say that. I watched Piers Morgan and read Piers Morgan saying that Hamas were decapitating babies. Is he high or something?
I said that.
You haven't said on your show 40 decapitated babies?
Yes, you bloody did. Man, I saw you. I heard you. I saw you say that multiple times. Oh my God, I'm going to go look for the clip now. I can't tolerate this.
No, that's completely untrue.
That is true. What's your source? What's your source?
There's been a thorough investigation into the claim that was...
Here, I got it. Here's one of them. It says one edition.
That's completely untrue.
That is true. What's your source? What's your source?
There's been a thorough investigation into the claim that was put up there by some rogue person on Twitter that it was AI. It has been completely disproven.
Okay, let me ask you a question.
That picture, which was published on the Telegraph, is a genuine, legitimate picture.
What is your source?
Are you seriously arguing that babies weren't killed?
No, I didn't say that.
Well, what are you saying?
I'm saying, give me a source.
Yeah.
You know full well you've been fired from the Daily Mirror for fake images. So you know full well about the
I didn't accept they were faked.
Exactly. The UK government did.
Yeah, they did.
Because
the UK government, just to be clear, had waged in my...
So that was a picture of a baby that was created. It was a fake photo that was making the rounds. He put that up. Here's another one. Take a look. Here's another one. And Piers Morgan was posting it saying that, it's proof and it was fake. Here's another video. Take a look.
Said on your show 40 decapitated babies?
No, I haven't.
What?
I've never said that.
You haven't said on your show 40 decapitated babies?
I choked up earlier reading this new revelation about 40 babies being killed.
Oh my God.
And some of them being beheaded. And I was like, how can any human being do that?
Is he not saying that Hamas decapitated? Look, it's right there. Lies, lies upon lies. They lie and then lie about their lies. I mean...
Shapiro didn't say it.
No.
Ron DeSantis didn't say
Nobody
it.
has said
Okay,
No,
nobody said it?
No.
Oh, okay. Okay, maybe I am wrong.
No way.
Decapitated. Here's
You're
the
wrong.
thing.
I've never said
the
that.
Thing, what happened, no, you're wrong. But the thing is, when Iraq, but the thing is, the same thing is happening in Iraq. Ben Shapiro once tweeted, not even about Gaza, about the West Bank, when Israel continued to build the illegal settlement. He said, 2017, Israel likes to build things, and Arabs not.
Arabs like to bomb things and live in shit. That is what Ben Shapiro said. I will show it to you. Look how, this is the audacity of these people, these Zionist scum. They are racist, murderers, and then they have the audacity, the gall, the fucking stones to point fingers at others and call them racist. You don't want Israel? Oh, you're an anti-Semite. Excuse you? Are you even a Semite? You come from Europe. Look at this. What a vile human being. What a vile Zionist. If he's so fucking tough, guy, go and fight then. See if you lost 1 minute against Hamas. Go ahead. You want to live on somebody else's land? Go ahead. Here you go. This is what this it was 2010 actually, not 2017. But that's irrelevant. Israelis like to build, Arabs like to bomb crap and live in open sewage. Settlements rock. Oh, they do indeed, but they're doing a whole different kind of rocking with those projectiles in the air.
Palestine, not Hamas, Arabs like to bomb crap and live in open sewage.
Yeah, I thought that was very
the Israeli defense minister, he said, those are human animals. And the thing is, Ben Shapiro should know better because, long before the Holocaust, before Jewish people were thrown in the gas chambers, the Nazi propaganda called them rats. Now, as a human being, I will never accept that another human being thrown in.
Thank you. This is a very important point. Everybody sees the unfairness that the Nazis, did not just to Jews, but actually to homosexuals, political opponents, priests, communists, people with disabilities. They just call them things like this. This propaganda to justify murdering them in concentration camps. You're supposed to learn a lesson from that it's wrong to, call human beings, other human beings, fellow human beings, these kinds of terms to try and justify killing them. You should know better, right? Everybody should know better. But the Israelis think it's okay to say people in Gaza are human animals. Why do you use this language? Why do you have to behave like that?
Into a gas chamber, but a rat, kill 10, kill 1,000, 3,500. They are son of a bitch. They are human animals who live in open sewage and decapitate babies. And because of that propaganda, Mr. Morgan, that guy in Illinois, the 71 years old guy, he stabbing the 6-year-old Palestinian kid in Illinois 26 times. And he used to play with him. They used to be friends. But he went in, marching into their apartment, stabbing his mother and killing him, shouting, all Muslims could die.
Yeah.
It took you 80 years to change one word from Jewish to Muslim. And then you transferred your guilt to us and took away our land.
Bassem, let me ask you.
Yeah. That is what Europe tries to do. One of the reasons why many of these European countries, they stand with Israel is because they are the ones who carried out the Holocaust. They either stood by or they participated in it. The French participated in it. And so they transfer their guilt, the genocide that they committed, and think that, they can transfer that onto Palestinians, onto Arabs who have nothing to fucking do with any of this. And now, instead of, killing Jews, which is, completely psychotic and going 200% in that direction, now they go 500% in this direction. And just everything Israel does is perfect. We love Israel. Yes, kill Palestinians. That is a manifestation of European guilt for the Holocaust. They think that they have to worship Israel. So number one, they conflate Jews with Zionists, which are two different things. And then on top of that, that's actually, by the way, that's considered an anti-Semitic trope. But you're seeing everybody do it now. Biden, Sunak, von der Leyen bitch. They're conflating Jews with Zionists. This is like if somebody attacked Yemen and then, I don't know, Sunak is saying, I stand with British Muslims. What do British Muslims have to do with Yemen? Yes, maybe some of them are Yemeni. And the rest? What if they're Indonesian? What if they're just, they're Scottish? What does that have to do? What do Jews in Britain have to do with Hamas or Israel? Why are you conflating the two? So that's number one. And number two, they are transferring, their not just their weapons, not just their support, but their guilt. Their guilt about centuries of anti-Semitism onto Arabs. Unbelievable. I'm sorry, but this propaganda doesn't work. And they only market this towards Europe anyway. The Israelis don't bother even saying any of this towards any Arabs or anyone outside the West. They don't bother because they know that it's bullshit. You can't sell this to Arabs. This doesn't mean anything. Like saying, oh, you're attacking us because you're anti-Semitic. What? No, we want our fucking land back. Who is anti-Semitic? You're the anti-Semites. Bunch of Europeans coming and killing Palestinians. So they only do this, the Israelis only do this propaganda in Europe because it works in Europe. It's like, you're guilty for the Holocaust. Now shut the fuck up when we do something. You can't criticize us. Yes, they're guilty for the Holocaust, but they should be able to criticize you, and not all Jews are Israelis. This is very, there are multiple levels of dishonesty here. The Israelis hijack the Holocaust and use it to shield themselves politically from any criticism in the West. That is what is happening.
That deal sucks, man.
Let me ask you a question. How do we get from where we are now to peace?
Well, first of all, you need to change the perception. Nikki Haley, the American presidential candidate, said, we are in Israel in this because it's a fight between good and evil. Now, if you already decided someone is good, he can do no evil. And if you decided someone is evil, it's good to kill them. Killing them is good. You see, and the thing is, it is not like something new. I mean, I look at history and I see, I'm sorry to say this, but Westerners has always dealt like this with indigenous people. You first treated them like savages, Native American, First Nation, Aboriginal. They're savages. Kill all the savages. And then when they're almost extinct, you start feeling sorry for them, like animals. So maybe the solution is that we kill as many Palestinians as possible so the few of them that remains do not bother you. And maybe Netanyahu, when he lives for another 100 years, he'll become a tree hugger.
Let me just challenge you on this.
And he will campaign for preserving the three Palestinians.
You keep talking about Westerners like...
Maybe let's have more peace festivals, like in the desert where Palestinians are not invited.
Okay, so let me return the favor, okay? Hamas is dedicated to the complete eradication of Jewish people.
I am not the spokesman for Hamas.
I'm not saying you are.
Why do you I'm
not saying you are.
Yeah, ma'allim. Do you see this bullshit? Like every Muslim or Arab person that you speak with, you treat them like they're associated with Hamas. What is this? This shit even happens to me. Even ask any Arab Christian. They're treated like, in the West, they think that they invented Christianity in New York or something, like as if it comes from the West in the first place. This Islamophobia is for any Arab, Muslim, Jewish, Christian, doesn't matter, And what is he comparing the genocide of Native Americans to Hamas? Hamas is a blip. It's not even a blip on the radar compared to that. It's not even comparable.
Spokesman.
You're talking to me.
I fucking hate them. Fuck Hamas.
Hamas.
No. Are you happy?
You're missing my point. You're talking in a generalized way about people in the West who always talk about Arabs as savages. I don't.
No. I'm talking about America.
I actually led the campaign. I led the media campaign in this
listen,
country against the Iraq War. Okay, so I don't see... I
don't
see people in the Middle East as savages.
You are one of the good ones.
But what I would say is...
I'm talking about you. You're great.
No, it's not about me being
amazing.
Great.
You know what's so funny to me is that these people in the West who think that they are enlightened, medicine, mathematics, science, Greek philosophy, all of this comes from the Middle East, from Arabs and Muslim scholars. from Damascus, from Baghdad. These were the scientific centers, the trade centers, the cultural centers of the planet. This is a fact. This is a fact. All the major Greek philosophical texts were preserved and translated by Arab, Muslim, and Christian scholars, and Persian Muslim scholars as well. The mathematics, algebra. Algebra is literally al-jabr. It's an Arabic word. Alcohol, al-kuhul. All of the scientific disciplines and domains and fields were either invented or advanced by Muslim and Arab scholars. And then, because of the Mongols coming and ruining everything, you have a bunch of people, snot-nosed bastards in the West who think they're like more civilized. What a joke, man. Civilization itself began in Syria. In Syria, the first alphabet, the first musical notes, the first sheet music, farming, writing, everything, building a city, all of it. In Iraq, in Syria, in Palestine.
We love you.
It's about the way Hamas behaved on October the 7th was like savages, like a pack of savages. It was the worst atrocity against Jewish people since the Holocaust.
What the fuck? What is this guy smoking?
Has to be,
of course,
there has to be a response. And my question
should be
for you
eradicated.
Is, my question for you is, notwithstanding the history, Bassem, what is the proportionate response?
But I don't know. But there's no Hamas in the West Bank, and they're still dying there. So what's your excuse?
Maybe there's Hamas in the Aleppo airport, and that's why they bombed it. Oh, again, twice in 1 week. Maybe there's Hamas, like, they're crouched or on their stomachs, laying on their stomachs inside the runway, inside the tarmac. Maybe they're hidden inside the wings. Who knows? Maybe that Reuters journalist, Issam Abdullah, who was killed, maybe he was hiding a Hamas operative in his camera lens. Maybe there was, a Hamas member in his backpack. I don't know. Israel can do no harm.
I don't have any excuse.
Okay, what's your explanation? Sorry, my earpiece went down.
Listen, I don't make any pretense that this hasn't been a massive problem
between
Palestine and Israel going back to the mid-40s. We all know this, right?
Piers, listen. I'm not saying that you're making excuses, but if you are adopting a certain point of view, you have to at least defend it. I'm telling you, there is no Hamas in the West Bank. What is the excuse? Not your excuse. What is the excuse to kill those people?
Well, listen, this question of proportionality is one.
That look on his face is such a mood, It's like everybody in the world felt that. Look at his face. So you're just gonna fucking ignore me when I got you. You're just gonna ignore me and act like I didn't just pin you down, corner you with your bullshit. Pierce is certainly not the worst of them. He's not a Ben Shapiro, but he's really nearing that point. In any case, one thing that I always tell myself, that I comfort myself with, is that thank God, at the end of the day, the people in the resistance don't give two fucks what you say or anybody else, like these clowns say in mainstream media. They don't give a shit. They have a choice. They can either live under Israeli occupation and accept being treated like subhuman, or they can fight and get their land back. It's a very simple choice. But it doesn't mean that it's not difficult to live and to experience. And many of them sacrifice their lives in the process. I'm not talking about Hamas. I'm talking about people living under Israeli occupation, whether it's in the Syrian Golan Heights or it's in the West Bank or Gaza or Shab'a Farm. Doesn't matter. No one is obliged or under any obligation or forced to tolerate Israeli occupation. No, why don't you go start defending that or try to defend that if you can? Like this is, you should. I don't think it's appropriate. I don't think it's logical. I don't think it's fair to put anyone who's waging a war of resistance against a colonizer in a defensive position. They have nothing to defend. You are the one who's coming here and saying that Israelis are the victims. Jesus, you want to talk about defending a position? Start writing 50 books and try to do it if you can.
No. Answer my question. I've been answering your question. You answer mine.
It's actually not my job to answer your questions. It's not.
Okay, not your job.
Not.
I agree with you.
I'm more interested in you, who has family in Gaza, who's an Egyptian in the Middle East, right? I'm more interested in what you have to say.
Okay, I'm telling you. I think Hamas is the problem. Okay.
Right.
Now, let's
And we're
say
agreed.
Hamas is removed. Let's Hamas. Yeah. I'm agreeing with everything. You want me to go down Hamas?
I think he was about to say, "I will kiss your ass" in Arabic. He said, "Bus." Maybe you want to say "Bus Tlizak."
I will condemn Hamas, Hummus, Hassan, everyone. Guys. So
Oh my
wait,
God, it's so funny.
I can't hear you. The earpiece. Damn. Okay. Oops. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I do need help.
I think
Okay.
just go back. Is he there?
You go back. You go.
Can you
go
hear me?
back. Okay. Go. Thank you, guys.
Can you hear Bassem?
Yeah. Now I can hear you.
Okay.
So here's the thing. Can you hear? Okay.
Yeah.
So Isaac, let's say, for example, Hamas ceased to exist. Okay. Do you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. Hamas ceased to exist today. Now, right now, in Palestine, in West Bank and Gaza, 20% of Palestinians go through Israeli prison system, whether imprisonment, whether interrogation, whether torture. And the rest of them, they live a life of daily loss of land, of homes, of life, and they are suffocated by this. So let me ask you something. If you are a Palestinian living into these conditions for decades, would you sympathize with your oppressor, or sympathize with the people who claim they resist them even if they are terrorists?
I have made no secret that I think the conditions Palestinians have had to exist under are completely unacceptable.
Yeah.
I've said that for years. So the question then becomes, how do you forge peace between two warring?
There doesn't have to be peace. Who said there has to be peace? Huh? Did the United States make peace with North Korea after, killing 20% of its population? It's like they're saying someone who is raped needs to make peace with the rapist. No, the fuck they don't. They absolutely do not fucking need to make peace with them at all. What is this? Go away. Could just go away, man.
Parts of that region who for decades have approached peace, in my view, with mutual sledgehammers, with no actual desire.
This is a lie. This is a lie. Look, in the 2000s, every Arab country, the entire Arab League, adopted a peace plan, a peace initiative, and the Israelis rejected it and spat on it. Every time there was some glimmer of hope in diplomatic terms, the Israelis would go and sabotage it. The Oslo Accords, were they not signed? Did Yasser Arafat, did he not sign the Oslo Accords? Did the PLO not sign the Oslo Accords? They did. This is a fact. They did that 30 years ago. What has that got them? What did the Palestinians get out of the Oslo Accords? They're still under occupation. Their land was carved up, chopped up into Swiss cheese upon Swiss cheese. And now they are killed in the West Bank because apparently this has something to do with Hamas. I mean, you can't win. And what about the raids in Jenin and Nablus in the West Bank? You can't win with the Israelis. You can't reason with them. They don't give a fuck, because for them, we want to wipe out all the Syrians in the Golan Heights, build illegal settlements, and wipe out all the Palestinians, take all of Palestine. This is their political ideology. That's Zionism.
To have peace. And I think it comes down in the end to great leadership. And I don't think there's great leadership. I don't think, well, hang on, let me make my point. I don't think there's great leadership on either side. Where is the Nelson Mandela figure here to come through all this hatred on both sides?
Nelson Mandela?
Yeah, where is that
Nelson
figure?
Nelson Mandela actually had...
It's funny, they used to call Nelson Mandela a terrorist in the West until, well, they stopped calling him a terrorist. Anyway, I think I've shown you guys enough. That was most of the interview anyway, but really a good laugh all around. And he really exposed some great points in Western hypocrisy. It's just, I rest my case. I wish more people knew how to respond like Bassem. He did a great job. Very, very, very good. Really exposed the hypocrisy, in an eloquent, concise manner.